And calling for another round a day.
Is that right?
Gets-
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. Things look good, but at some point we're just gonna have too much water.
Yeah.
These beans are gonna start suffering, I fear. I mean, they're not gonna get their nitrogen.
All right, well, it is 10 o'clock, so we will begin our regular session for the Board of Commissioners for this Tuesday, July 1st. Flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reagan, would you like to lead us in the prayer?
All right.
One nation.
Lord, we thank you for this free country in which we live. We thank you for this 4th of July holiday week and all that it represents. We ask you to bless the proceedings today in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Zeller?
Yes, here.
Commissioner Wagner?
Here.
We'll do the signing of the journal and accept a motion for the approval of the DVD recording from the previous session from Thursday, June 26th.
I'll move.
Seconded.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Any adjustments to the printed agenda that anybody needs to add?
Just where we stayed at the RTA building with the cleaning, or the
Contract?
remediation for the mold.
There was a discrepancy in the contract when Derek got it, the way they put their name into the contract. I don't remember what they called themselves, but they left Klaus out of the contract and the contract specific, so Derek has said that needs to be changed and resubmitted, so that's where we're at on that
That's in a
one.
contractual
Yep,
contract.
yep,
Okay.
yep.
Any indication when they would start it?
Oh, no, I haven't talked to Lenny about that at all, so.
May not hurt to just put a call in. because-
Sure. He's gonna be in a hurry, or if we're gonna,
Yeah, but I mean, are we still planning on, fellow commissioners, after that's done, are we still, some thoughts on cleaning, doing the power washing at that building? Is there
As soon
still?
as that's done, we can do that.
Okay,
Weather's nice
okay.
enough.
And I assume we're completely done with the sheriff's office, the painting, or I
Yes.
guess maybe that's a question. How are we on that? Is that
on the
done?
all the painting's done, sheriff thinks it
All
looks.
cleaned, all
Yep.
everything?
Yep, he's just looking at the asphalt now, which we talked about last week, and we're gonna put that off till next year, and he's okay with that. We just had to fill one hole that's kinda caved in, so maintenance went out and filled that out, and he's okay with waiting.
Sheriff's office looks nice too.
Does it, I guess I need to,
You can see it from the road, and then you get up closer, it looks
Is it-
as nice as gray can look.
and just refresh my memory,
I agree.
sorry,
You can tell.
You can tell.
we talked about the Palmer Palmer
Energy.
thing,
Palmer
and
Energy.
that, some people that are dissatisfied with, what did we, I'm sorry, I got brain dead on this. We talked about that last week, but what did we determine on, to have an outside independent come in?
We didn't want a consultant to look at our consultant.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I knew there was some decision. Bill asked me yesterday, and I forgot what the.
I think we were just gonna continue to try and work through the problems.
Okay.
Was what we decided.
Yeah.
Are we getting less?
Less
Complaints?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's
Well, I think
encouraging.
it worked out the bugs of a lot of other things that also got kind of discovered or
Yeah.
along with, errors. Just kind of a snowball effect on the issues.
Don't ask
in the
Mark.
building, so.
Don't ask Mark.
We're good.
We're working through those through the back channels, not, things are working out.
I know.
They'll get fixed.
Anything else for old business? I pretty much took care of it. Bill form. Okay, new business. Begin with we had, yeah. I
Mark
guess we need to
down.
do the hearing.
Mark down for.
Yeah, Wolf Creek, is that you?
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
supposed to be me and Tia made a point to make sure that I was here at 10 o'clock.
Oh, do you want us to call her on the back phone?
Oh, no. She's gonna get it. So, She's gonna get it big, because I think she's got paperwork. Ultimately, we are ready to start meeting landowners out in the field to begin the cleanup work that they are gonna be doing themselves, which we are pushing hard for landowners to be doing almost all their own work. We have one landowner that has a mile and a half, almost 2 miles of ditch. It's extensive work that needs to be done. They want to get it all done, and really wasn't planning on doing all this until later after crops are off. They want to do it now.
Okay.
Fine. But we do not have a mechanism put in place right now for contract administration, even though it's not really contract administration because we don't have a contract. We're trying to avoid that. But I had talked with Joe and Jason at Soil and Water and then Tia about the possibility of having them, similar to the way they did the other work on Wolf Creek, working with them to meet landowners, go out and mark the trees, mark the stuff, because they have more resources available to do that. And whether we could do that similar to what we did with them doing the prior planning for the Wolf Creek project. Tia took it to their board. The board approved it and said it's okay. But because those funds, the way Soil and Water works with their funding, they state match and all that, if there was a possibility of working with the commissioners of, of course, it'd be reimbursement, of working with them to, they do the work, it's still the work that I'm doing, I'm not charging for. But that way they could get reimbursed for their work, but
We just front the money, basically.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's similar to what we've done in the other projects.
We do that with a number of ditches.
Yeah. And we're not talking huge, I mean, not hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that, but it would be an hourly thing, basically their costs. But I think Tia is gonna has put together an estimate of what she thinks. Right now, it's just we have no idea how long it's gonna take. But that way we can, I've got a landlord, he really wants, I'm like, I can't do anything until we talk to commissioners. I wanted to get your blessing on the idea. I don't know that we need maybe we need formal action. I don't know what we need, to be honest with
I don't have a
you.
problem fronting the money, we get it back through the, if you guys don't.
None whatsoever. Do we need to get an opinion from Derek? Can we
We do
front
this-
the money, or can we
do
just
this all
do
the
it?
time for,
Okay.
like SCAT, we fronted all the money for that, the youth
Oh.
center.
Make sure you're on time. Seriously. Oh my lord.
I was addressing the
Oh, you
concerns
are.
of the citizens of Seneca County.
So am I.
We are so grateful that you're gonna do the job at your expense and nothing for the county at all. And you're gonna take
That's
the whole
what Mark said.
project.
Plans changed.
I think it's admirable.
Now that Tia's here, I mean,
Sorry.
we had talked about Soil and Water doing the contract administration, even though there's no contract formally yet, and that the board had approved doing that, and that there was a way that the commissioners could front that money into your budget, and that way there could be, is that possible? In that way you can help get state match as well?
Because it's an issue, because they won't state match the 15,000 that came from the Wolf Creek project this year, because it didn't come from the 010 account. It went from the 010 to the ditch fund, then to us. It's been wonderful. I'm not done fighting it. I'm got a letter to send off to the commission, and I have a commission meeting next week that I'm gonna
Those are
go
our
to.
funds anyway. Those are our funds.
I understand, but the law, Ohio Revised Code says from the special fund, or not, from the general fund, sorry, not special, our special fund. And our general fund is the 010 account, and if you made so, it's been a battle, and they're sticking, and I still say it's because of me, but
Well, sure.
because I've been an advocate for state match and advocate for the districts and with ODNR, and we're in our battle with ODNR right now, so. But if it doesn't come from the 010 account, it is not gonna get state matched, period. So
And I don't
ju-
know that matters as far as reimbursement goes. It's money it's for the Wolf Creek project. It will be itemed for that. I think it's just a logistic issue.
We're just talking fronting the money, then when the assessments are assessed,
You get the money
You
back.
get reimbursed,
Oh,
yeah.
right, but yeah. But I assume still there, no, I mean, we really didn't talk, I think maybe we did, but no interest. Maybe it was just a match for a match, we're gonna do it, we'll do it annually, it's not like we're gonna wait for 3 years. But I didn't know, you know, we first want to get your blessing, and then.
We're gonna work on a
Work on a
plan and a
plan,
concept, monies and everything, so it's,
Yeah.
we didn't wanna go forward with it if you guys weren't okay with it.
Right.
I
So,
don't see any problem.
We've come this far on this mammoth project, we
Yeah.
certainly don't
So-
wanna.
Yeah.
and it's
Wanna
definitely not
jeopardize
gonna
it.
be anything, you know, exorbitant, you know, we're gonna make it, you know, we're doing the, you know, just making it an efficient use, you know, and not making sure that we're doing
Right.
it. Now, I don't wanna say cheaply, because it's not, but we're doing it in an economical manner.
Inexpensive.
Economical manner.
Right.
Fiscally responsible.
Right.
So you're
There you go.
anticipating landowners to doing work through the rest of the year?
through the rest of the year, at least this year, and we're now towards the beginning of harvest season. I mean, most things we do revolve around farm season. So towards the end or beginning of harvest, making more contact with those landowners again. So what I like to do is in the next week or two, get another letter out to everybody reminding them about what we want them to do. Those that are in favor and are just gonna come forward, which I think a lot of them are, we will work with those immediately. And directly, those that aren't, we will be able to, at the beginning of harvest, remind them again of the cost savings that they're gonna have by doing so, and meeting them out in the field, marking their trees, marking their log jams that need to be removed. And we'll know then at the end of this year who is going to and who isn't. And if they say, I 100% want to do it, but there's no way I can do it until next summer, wow, okay, I'm all right with that. We've been waiting 30 years for this project to happen. If somebody tells me that they just can't get to it right now, you gotta wait till next summer, I'm okay with that.
Well, and with the water the way it's been,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, I mean,
Yeah. So it puts-
water level, you know, we've got some high
Right.
water levels. I mean,
Yeah.
it continues to rain. I mean, the water really isn't receiving a whole lot
No.
in between these rains. So, I mean, it's not out of the question that they won't be able to get into
Right.
next year, so, on some of these places, in some of these areas, so.
Eventually, we'll have to have a contract with a contractor to clean up the rest of the.
I
stuff.
assume so, yes.
Yeah. You anticipate that'll be next
I anticipate that'd be next summer, next fall.
spring, summer.
And I do that because we're gonna push hard as we can to get all this, get as much physical work done as we can from private landowners.
I think that's the best, would be the cheapest way
Yep.
for everybody, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So we will proceed, and, you know, once we get something drawn up, you know, we'll run it through Derek, run it through you, make sure everybody's okay with it. But we will go ahead and proceed, so.
Unrelated question, where do we stand on a new wrinkle to run the scope through the sewer systems?
Well, as far as the sewer system from New Rigo goes, I've had 2 meetings with RCAP now, and they are confident that the infiltration that we're experiencing in New Rigo is lower than what the engineering design called for. So, unless I have a problem somewhere, we're not gonna just scope the system. It's already under what, you're gonna have I&I in a system, no matter what. Joints leak. They plan for a certain amount, we have less than that right now. What we may have are some illegal taps, with people having downspouts and that in there. But in looking at the pump stations, how they pump versus rainfall events is what we really do. We are not experiencing surges during heavy rainfalls, which means we don't have, and that's how we determine, you know, we monitor the pumping station rate based on those days, based on the rainfall and the next preceding days to see how much I&I we have, and we do not have jumps. If you have a lot of I&I after a rain, you'll get huge spikes in your pumping.
That means you're getting a lot of
Surface
surface water.
that's correct.
Getting that. That makes sense.
We have not.
That makes sense.
So I don't see any point in doing a massive, it would, at this point, it'd be a waste of everybody's time to do. So we are still pursuing other alternatives, and, you know, we're working on New So, since we're talking sewers, on a secondary note, Bascom, That system is running fantastic. The plant's running fantastically, people are getting tapped, getting hooked up. I sent the letter out, we did extend the hookup until the end of October, just because of how bad the winter was and how wet the spring was, so.
What percentage of the houses?
Right now,
50%?
no, probably 35,
Okay, you just.
30,
really get started.
35%. I'm sorry?
You're really just getting started.
We're just getting started. Most people wait to the end. People procrastinate. So that's life. So, but.
And they're all getting map, or GIS.
Oh, yeah, and soil and water, you know, they are GPSing every tap. So 20 years from now, when I'm no longer here and you're no longer here and Tia's no longer here and somebody's got to find it, everything is being referenced. We are putting
Nikki will be
this.
here.
Bradwell?
Nikki.
Oh, Nikki, when somebody calls, you will have the GIS map. I'm just letting you know right now, and you'll be able to pinpoint the XY coordinates of where that tap is. You'll be the only one left.
I know.
So, yeah,
It's all on your shoulders.
it's all on your shoulders.
We're good.
Yeah. Why are you talking to me?
I see Charlie Dodge passed away.
Oh, yeah, and that's, you know, I don't know if you guys knew Charlie at all. Worked with Charlie for a lot of years. He was the public safety director, and he had wore a lot of hats. Ran the city engineer's office in the city of Astoria for upwards of over 2 decades, I think. A lot of work with Charlie. What a great guy. He will be missed. So I saw that in the paper this morning that he had passed. So very distinguished career. Very, very distinguished. And did a lot for Seneca County. Not only for the city of Astoria, but a lot for Seneca County. So he'll be missed.
Okay.
That's all.
Last chance, you can hit Mark up with anything else, anybody?
Since you're- Yeah, you can chime in here since you were
Well,
late.
that's okay. No, this is completely unrelated to anything, but so, can I address the farm lease, the upcoming farm lease?
Sure. Have at it.
Is
So
that
I
coming
asked-
next year?
Well, we're getting ready to rebid it, correct, Nikki?
Yeah.
So, and I've already talked to Derek about it, and he's okay with changes that I'd like to propose to the commissioners, and what the changes would include is including language in there to include proper husbandry care of the land. So we're gonna develop a nutrient management plan for the current farm. We're gonna soil test it and develop a nutrient management plan for that farm, and to be able to provide to the landowner who does lease it. So, but including that clause of, taking good care of the soil, being good stewards of it. And I've got the language that I'm gonna give to Derek, as long as you guys are okay with that. But I think it's important that we really start being good stewards of the land. If we don't include that, we ran into the same issue at the Miller Farm where they did not care for the ground. And we are still trying to get it back to a good condition where it can be a profitable farm. So, and it's gonna take a long time. So I'd like to jump ahead. Not that the landowners are not, I'm not saying they aren't. But I'd like to at least include that in the clause, so that if we see that they're not taking proper care, and that means erosion control, making sure erosion, if there's tile in there, maintaining that tile as making it properly function. So if they're not doing those things, it actually allows you the ability to exit out of that lease to make sure that that land stays productive and profitable. So,
Just so we don't go overboard on the, I think we talked about this before, 100% cover crop is overboard.
it's not, we're not talking giving them specific practices. We're talking that they have to manage it from a nutrient standpoint, erosion control, it's generalized, so
Okay.
they need to manage it. It's
Can't
not
just mine all the P and K out of it and then.
correct, it's asking them to follow a nutrient management plan. So, they're gonna I'm following tri-state fertility guides and making sure that they're, if it's high in nitrogen, then they can cut down on their nitrogen. But if they need to at least do maintenance levels, things like that. So following those things. As a farmer, as a landowner, I don't think wouldn't want anyone not taking care of that soil. So if they're going to mine the heck out of it, it's not going to do you guys in the future. So I think I think it's
understand.
important that they start following, because we've seen erosion control on the farm that we have right now behind us that doesn't always get addressed. So I think those are important things that you guys need to consider as, if that topsoil is washing away, it just makes that ground less productive. So, I mean, and as a farmer, wouldn't you be taking care of those erosion controls matters in your own farm, on your own farm, so.
Yeah. We can get just too aggressive on that if we're not careful. So I just like to see the language, I guess, before we go.
I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it to Derek, so, I mean, and you guys, it's not gonna require them to do any specific management practices. It's just gonna hold them accountable to make sure that they're following, addressing the erosion concerns, following the nutrient management plan and a tri-state fertility guide. So, which, they're supposed to be following the tri-state fertility guide anyway, so.
What's the terms usually on our lease with that?
3 years?
3 or 5?
I think, I wanna say.
This one was 3, I thought. Isn't it?
No, I think there was 4.
4? Okay.
I think it's 1
3.
actual and then 3 consecutive, I believe.
I think you're right. Okay, you're right. Yeah. You lease it for the first year and then you can renew it for 3
Right.
consecutive years before you rebid it out. You're right, sorry.
Yep.
It's due this fall?
I'm gonna bid it out
Okay.
this year and
For
then they'll
next crop
take,
year?
yeah.
Okay.
And this is one of the smaller ones. This isn't the big county.
Oh, this
one.
isn't the, oh, okay.
No, this is a smaller,
That's
this is
the
one of the
airport.
smaller ones.
The airport one,
Yeah.
yeah, the one we're looking at behind the airport, so.
Okay.
I got one question to Mr. Zimmerman, while we're here. That's right, and you got all surrounded by.
Where's your dad?
Yeah, where is
Because I
it?
got on my knees and I begged you,
Not a chance.
Good answer.
just to take your grader
No such
down one
thing.
side and back the other.
No such thing. You touch it, you own it. And I'm not gonna own it.
Wow. I like this read between the lines conversation. Is that the end of your question?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. All right, so we got work to do.
Let's go.
Thanks. Thank you all very much. Take care.
I'm not gonna give up, Mark.
We will, let's move through some of our, new business, some of the resolutions and things before we get to Kathy at 10:30.
I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund, moving $2,000 from equipment auto to contract repairs, $305.91 from equipment auto to contract services, and $119.92 from equipment to contract services. Total move $2,425.83. I have a resolution authorizing amendment number 2 with Seneca County Agency Transportation Contract on behalf of the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. I have a resolution amending the indigent fee council caps for Seneca County, Ohio, effective with the submission of bills to the court on or after July 1st, 2014. I have a resolution authorizing the 2015 Workers' Compensation Group retrospective plan agreement between Seneca County and County Commissioners, County Commissioners Association, sorry.
I typed it like that too. I was
Okay.
Like, what?
A little confusing. I have a resolution accepting the amendment number 4, the Patchworth House Access, I'm not having a good day today. Access Visitation Grant on behalf of the Job and Family Services. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed requests for proposals for transportation services for the Seneca County Department of Job and Family Services. That will be scheduled for Thursday, July 31st, 2014 at 10:30 a.m. here at the Commissioner's office. And those are the resolutions.
Okay. I have a motion.
I have a motion that we approve those amendments as outlined.
Second?
A motion and a second. Are there any questions or comments, concerns on any of the resolutions as read?
What does, accepting amendment number 4 to the Patchwork House Access Visitation Grant. What does that mean?
Would you like me to explain that for you?
Yes, I would.
What that
Sorry.
is the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services, which, you know, we're connected with, our state partner, they put out money to work with places for visitation, because the theory is if a dad or a mom who's ordered to pay child support visits with that child, they're more likely to pay their child support. So our vendor is Patchworks House, and we work with them, they bill us for the visitation, and hopefully then we collect more child support to keep kids safe and healthy.
So this is extending the contract between Patchworks and Job and Family Services.
It is actually, on this one, we're modifying the amount of money we have to work with because the state gave us some additional funds.
Understand, thank you.
If there's no further questions, roll call.
Commissioner Weber?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, all approved. Thank you. And we'll move right to you, Kathy, for the authorizing a revision and implementation of the prevention, retention, and contingency plan. There you go, say that fast.
It's kind of tricky. All right, so what I have for you today, now I have to warn you, I've been watching a lot of cooking shows and my daughter's working on a 4-H cooking project. So if I say we've prepared for you today.
Samples?
We can be bribed. Chocolate chip preferably.
What this is, we've talked about this plan previously. We get, at the federal level, these funds are called temporary assistance to needy families. And they're a large part of our funding, and we can do flexible services with some of those funds. And so this PRC plan, it is a representation of those flexible services. And we modify it from time to time, we tweak it a little bit, but when we change it a lot, we like to bring it to you to make sure that's okay with you. We met in order to prepare this with our community partners like United Way, First Call for Help, schools, Family and Children's Council, all those community partners, and said, what are you seeing as gaps in service? So one of the things, I'm sure you all are aware, our governor is very interested in work supports, all those sorts of things. So that's some of the stuff really that we added. We've been doing the summer youth program, as you guys know, for quite some time. That continues in this plan. We also have a program called Subsidized Employment Program. That's where we can help somebody get a job. For 4 months, we pay the employer 100% of their wages so they can get a look at them. Hopefully they decide to keep that employee. And you know, that turns into employment for them and they get off benefits. So we're gonna continue on that one. One of the things we were hearing from community partners, that's always a challenge, is reliable transportation. So we added in this year's plan car repairs so people can make sure they're getting to work. And we still are doing some tires, if that's a reason, you know, they wouldn't be able to get to work. That also includes training to be employed. So one of the things the governor talks a lot about is the skills gap between the jobs that are available and the skills needed for those jobs. So we added in some training dollars. One of the high demand occupations that we hear a lot about is truck drivers. And so we'll be doing some CDLs, STNAs, those sorts of things. They're really geared to be short-term training, but to get that person a, you know, good, steady, you know, well-paying job. So we will be doing school clothes again. That one is, there are 14 of goals. And one of them is to ensure that people receive an education so they have the skills to go out and work after they graduate from high school. So we're going to do some school clothing. We're starting to take those applications July 8th. And our folks are prepared to do that. We have stuff on the website, and we've, got that word out in the community. The other change we made, probably, I think I skipped over this accidentally, is utilities. One of the things with this winter that we had, you all may know as well, heating costs were, high. And we had a cap on our heating costs for folks that they could get to keep their, family safe and warm. We increased that cap because we were finding, fills for people for propane were like, $1,500 and stuff like that. So I think the cap on that right now is $750. It was $500, so we went up to $750 on that. So those are the changes that we've made, and if you approve, I would ask you to pass a resolution and sign that for us.
To use the PRC in a case for heating, it would have to be to keep children from coming into foster care?
One of the pieces that we have, that you're talking about, it's called diversion, and that is exactly what we do. That could include heating, that could include electricity, that could include maybe, the furnace isn't working in a home repair, so that the furnace can work, and we don't have to take those kids into care. So that piece is really broad. The utilities, you don't necessarily have to, it's not the same, like, we're not trying to necessarily prevent care, we just want people to be safe and healthy and warm in their homes. So, and we really partner with WSOS on that, because you might be familiar with the HEAT program, they run that, and then they also have a cooling program, so we make sure that there's not, they get what they need to get from them, and if they still need something, then they come to us. That's the primary.
How do they have to qualify though? Then if it's not for the diversion program, is it just income
Yes.
eligible?
Yes, it's 200% of poverty, income eligible. We had more people this year than we did last year because of the type of winter we had.
Do they have to be working towards some kind of employment or anything like that?
We do require in these programs that there is, for lack of a better term, a copay, because what we found is at times, maybe they figure out the timing of that. So if I can get it every 24 months, then maybe I just come in and get that instead of paying it, even though, maybe I could pay that. So we do a copay on those because we feel like they have to be committed to that, and they also have to be able to sustain that.
I want to, just keep in mind as we're going through, I want to help people, but I don't want to help them just game the system, and figure
Right.
ways to not work.
Oh, if I could go on a big tangent here. The prosecutor, I don't know if this has been in the paper or not, but helped us with a case, to your point about fraud, we do try to recoup, overpayments from people. If they don't cooperate with us, then, and that gets really large, then we go to the prosecutor. And we just got an indictment for a case. Don't think I brought that paper with me, but I want to say it was $32,000. So.
Overpayments?
Yes, yes. So we're thankful, to the prosecutor for enforcing that. Public safety out of Lucas County helps us with some of that investigation work. That's under Carol Owen. Most of you know Carol. That does the workforce stuff. Fraud's under her. So.
But the whole goal ought to be getting people employed, not just giving them another handout to get
Yes.
through.
Because these PRC benefits that we're talking about, they cannot last more than 4 months, with the exception of summer youth, because the state decided that was going to run through October, which is really a work program. So it's, the whole idea of this is that you would give somebody some temporary assistance so that they wouldn't have to come on to permanent,
I guess that's why they call it TANF, isn't it?
Mhm.
Temporary assistance.
Yeah. Try to. And honestly, I did not bring those. I think, Stacy, you might get a copy of those. But I believe the last number I looked at, we only have 7 people on cash in the county. There is around 8,000 individuals that get food assistance, but that is down. I've talked to you before about, we issued in the past like $1 million a month in food assistance. Now it's under $1 million. So to me, you know, unemployment rate is down. Those are all good indicators. Medicaid expansion, we have 2,800 in the new system that the state created, so I'm going on a big tangent here, but just
Sorry.
since you asked about that, that was.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have this resolution today?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a resolution authorizing the revision and implementation of the Prevention, Retention, and Contingency Plan effective July 1st, 2014.
I move we approve.
Seconded.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution as stated. Any additional questions or comments for Kathy?
Kathy, only one, you mentioned the CDL program, and Holly, this may be for you too. I know that Fostoria was looking at putting in a school for individuals that are looking to get their CDLs. Are you aware of that, or is that progressing? When I was on FEDC, that was
I
one
don't
of their
remember anything on it. I did
initiatives.
miss the last meeting.
I have heard about that, but I don't know what the status is of that. I know they definitely have an interest in getting
You
that.
may want to, I mean, if there's funds available and there's jobs available, certainly in this, with CDLs, and we're trying to educate individuals, I mean, what a better thing than to parlay it on to what Fostoria is doing over there, so.
Yeah, actually, I just talked to Pam at the chamber this week, so we're trying to coordinate with her on that. Some people partake of CDL training at Atera. You know, I think there's a couple other vendors.
Yeah, but since we're footing the bill, or you're footing the bill, can't we kind of specify to keep the money within the county? I mean, is that an option? If that, and I'm not sure how well that program is progressing over there, but there was, when I was on the FADC board, there was a lot of discussion on that. I mean, that would be my preference, keeps it right in the county and helps our neighbors out.
Yeah, definitely with the TANF funds, we can talk more about that with the Workforce Investment Act funds, which are, you know, that run the one-stop and everything. Those, we have to give customers choice, but we can also educate the customer about success rates of the training institutions and things like that. So, yeah, I'd be interested if there was a
Yeah, I don't,
vendor.
like I said, remember them even being discussed, and I think I only missed one meeting.
Yeah, this has been a few, well, last year when I was on it, that they were bringing that. Jim, you may be able to, how are we doing with the training school over there? Don't know.
Okay. Let's see, we need a vote, no? Or did we vote? Let's vote.
Commissioner Weidler?
Yes.
Commissioner Zoller?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes, approved.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, then we have an update from VOA. Hi. Hello.
I'm,
Stay there, whatever you want to do.
I'm Diana Silvera from Peck Schaefer and Williams Division of Dinsmore Shoal. We're acting as bond counsel in the transaction. We were back here in October of last year getting the original approval for the issuance of bonds for the construction of a facility here in Tiffin near the Mercy Hospital. A geriatric psychiatric facility as well as a nursing facility, correct?
Transitional care.
Transitional care facility.
What's facility? What, a treated?
Transitional care.
Transitional care.
Transitional care, okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. And basically, since we were originally planning to issue them in December, but the market went away, basically, the interest rates went too high in order to do the project feasibly, just based on debt service. So we waited a while, we're thinking about changing structures, but we decided to stick with the same structure, and the market has come back now to where the interest rates are such that the project is again feasible. Over time, though, the construction costs have gone up a little bit, as well as the cost of issuance related to the bond deal. And for that reason, we are now planning to, if approved today, go over the original maximum principal amount that was approved back in October, which was $18 million at that time. We have this amending resolution today to increase that amount to $20 million. And currently, the expected principal amount of the bonds is $18,360,000. That's why we need to get the approval to go over the $18 million. And like I said, again, that's because of construction cost increases as well as cost of issuance increases over that period of time that we were delayed. And another thing that we're doing with this amending resolution is extending the maximum maturity. It was 35 years, and now it's 37 years. Oh, well, it would be if this were approved. And that's just because currently they do still plan to have them mature in just under 35 years. But in case the maturity would get pushed back a month or two and go over that 35-year mark, we just wanted to get that taken care of at the same time, so we wouldn't have to come ask for another amendment to this original resolution. But that's basically what we're here for, and we have a representative from BOA, the Autumnwood Care Center Director, if you have any questions about facilities or anything like that.
Thank you for your investment in the community. Has John Larson looked this
Yes.
over, I assume? Okay, good,
Yep.
good.
Is it, what is the interest rates on those?
I think what they're, if I remember correctly, they're expecting somewhere between 4 and 7 for the tax exempt bonds and somewhere near 8-ish for the taxable bonds. But they cannot go over an average rate across the table of 9.
You gonna break ground this year, Sally?
I'm sorry, what?
You gonna break ground this year?
That is the hope.
Yeah, that's the
I've said
plan.
that before, though. It hasn't happened yet. I want to take a shove out there myself. You don't recommend that, so. Yeah, definitely the anticipation is 2014 is the year.
Good. I would move we approve.
Resolution amending and supplementing the resolution adopted October 15th, 2013.
I'll second. Comments or questions? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Wagner,
Yes.
Commissioner Buller,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy.
Yes. Approve. Yeah. You're welcome. Thanks. Okay. That
Good day.
concludes, all things listed on our agenda. Bring us to a period of citizen comments at this time. Does anyone have any comments, questions? Okay. Seeing none. Okay, motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second to adjourn. We stand adjourned 10:42. Thanks.